podcast. We're excited to be here at Broad and Noble Apartment Complex, one of the many developments taking place right here on North Broad Street. Before I introduce today's guest, I just want to remind you to subscribe and make sure you leave those comments. We are here to build a community of informed and engaged stakeholders. So make sure you subscribe. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Shalimar, that
How
was
are
great.
you?
I'm just super excited that we have a podcast now. I like to think of myself as a think broad revitalization North Broad Street guy.
Say that because that's a question at the end
Okay,
that I want you to answer.
I'm gonna save
But
it.
this is a fun fact, right? Because
Yeah.
we're both birthday twins.
Yes, we're
We have
birthday
the same
twins.
birthday.
We're the best Ides of March birthdays ever.
Let's start with just you talking a little bit about your work and what you do.
Well, what I do, I think that I try to build people and build community as well. We help people build their skills so they can work in the skilled craft construction area in Philadelphia and the surrounding counties and South Jersey, Northern Delaware. So what we try to do at the Philadelphia Building Trades and the Laborers District Council is to create a workforce for the future and for now to create great upper middle class jobs.
That's really good because today we're going to talk specifically about business attraction and retention on North Broad, as that's a key focus area for the North Broad Renaissance because we understand just what you said. That contributes directly to job equity and the jobs that we provide in the community. But you were a presence here before it was popular to be a presence here. You put roots here. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes. First of all, I grew up between the Richard Allen projects and 1118 North Street, right on, like you could say 11th and Wallace. So I've been in this neighborhood my entire life. And our Union Hall has been at 665 North Broad and at 1310 Wallace Street for 80 years.
Mhm.
So we've been here for a while. We're the pioneers. We remember when we had the shelter.
I didn't know it was 80 years.
80 years.
Wow.
Labor's Local 332 is about 80 years old. They used to be across the street when the bakery was there. And when they bought the bakery, we bought the bakery 60 years ago in the current location. But we've been around in and around this neighborhood since our inception of our founder.
Yeah.
And we're not leaving.
Well, you got your new headquarters.
A lot of training facilities were either in the greater Northeast. Ours was in Exton, Pennsylvania. And we wanted to put one on North Broad Street so that they could be easily accessed by public transit, by a short bike ride or walk. We wanted to make it accessible to neighborhoods that previously were locked out of the construction industry. Mm-hmm. So it was very intentional that we put our stake down. And it was also a legacy play on Bill Gray. Bill Gray built the former William Penn to be a suburban school in inner city. It didn't work. They didn't have the proper supports or whatever. And we said, we're going to double down on that and put the same type of thought, financial, to make you feel like you're in the suburbs. It's a state-of-the-art training facility. So you can, when you come in, you feel that we care about you. Mm-hmm. And that's important to us because we tell our children every day that we care about them, but we send them in schools that are sick. They don't have air conditioning. We have air conditioning. We have heat. We have great snacks, healthy snacks. Everything about the school says that we care about you and we care about your future. And we want you to come in as welcome and receptive. We have great big doors on Broad Street as the entryway to let you know, come in here, opportunity exists in this building.
Yeah. I love that building. And one thing I remember when we had our tour was that it was very holistic. Very. Like when you thought about the concept and the training, it was very holistic. It thought about not just the person coming to work, but their entire health, their mental health, their physical health, what's going on at home. It was very, very holistic. So good job. Kudos.
Thank you. I had a great team working with me. It's not just me, but we thought about, we wanted it to be a holistic building. A lot of times in the African-American community, we neglect our mental health, and you can't have great outcomes if your mind isn't right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about business attraction and retention, and why is business attraction and business retention crucial for the local economy, especially from a union's perspective?
Well, listen, we work with 90% of our our contractors work with private sector people.
Mm-hmm.
So we need business attraction and business retention so that we can build buildings, so that we can move this city forward. Development is based on how many businesses can come here, because businesses mean residents. It means dynamism. How do we move? How dynamic is this city? Do we have a business for everything? Do we have science? Do we have arts and culture? Do we have banking? So business attraction is a lifeblood of any city.
Mm-hmm.
And I happen to think that Philadelphia is really an attractive city from a demographic perspective, that 72% of the United States is within a 1 day's drive of Philadelphia. We're strategically placed between New York and Washington, D.C., and our real estate values are lower.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we should be an attractive business proposition. So it is very crucial that we remove red tape and we eliminate or simplify our tax base so that we can recruit more businesses here.
Yeah.
To have a city this large and only have one Fortune 500 company, I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we're working on North Broad is those districts: the arts and culture district, the tech district, the business district, and the health district. And each one of those districts are strategically placed for impact.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really looking at the impact of job equity in that space, right? And we were very strategic when we list those districts, because we know that everybody deserves the opportunity to just walk to work, right?
Yes.
Everybody wants that. And when it's right in your neighborhood, it goes back into the neighborhood, it goes back into the community. And so having those businesses come to North Broad, incentivizing businesses to come to North Broad, and making it easy so businesses know. That's one of the things that we're going to update our website with. When you want to locate to North Broad, it's going to be an easy step 1, step 2, step 3 process that you know to take so we can get you here on North Broad. So I'm glad that we're on the same page with that.
We are. But that's why you're the leader that you are, because you want to make the ease of doing business is very inviting, particularly to startups, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a lot of capital to hire lawyers to go through complex codes and regulations. They just want to open their business so they can attract the best talent that we have. And when you talk about job equity, that's what a union is. We were here for job equity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unions pay Black women, white women, Black men, white men, Latino men. Everybody gets one wage and one standard of living.
Yeah.
There is no Lilly Ledbetter things in unions, because we set a standard, and that standard is the floor, and everyone gets paid the same and treated equally and fairly. And that's all we want, is an equal shot.
Let's talk a little bit more about that and talk about your programs, because I know you have low barriers to entry programs.
Yeah, all we want you to do is come in with a high school diploma and the willingness to work hard. We will help you obtain your Pennsylvania driver's license, because you cannot be a successful construction worker in this industry, in this region, without a driver's license. And we've also relaxed the incoming requirement to be drug-free. Now, it's set with caveats. If you come in with marijuana in your system, we'll take you. But when you leave the program, your levels must be sufficiently low that we can scientifically say you're no longer currently using. And then when you come out of the apprenticeship program, then you test out with the zero marijuana, because you can either smoke weed and do construction. You just can't do them at the same time.
Right.
Because it's a safety hazard.
Right, absolutely. And why was that important for you to have that process in place?
Modern times, and you have states legalizing it, and people can get prescription cards, and I think it's all a ruse. But if we don't update the things that we need to do, then we'll go the way of stores that didn't respond to what the customer needed, and they're now out of business, right? So you have to be cutting edge with everything you do. And I've always said that we'll start you anywhere, but when you leave, our standard is our standard, and that never changes.
Right. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna have to use that. Yeah. How do we collaborate with the local government to make business attraction more easier here in Philadelphia?
Well, I think that we with all the bids, and you run a great bid. We have to get surveys from our businesses and really articulate the things that work and the things that do not work, and advocate and lobby like everyone else does. These are the things that work to attract business, and these are the things that are repellent to business. So you have a tax commission right now, which I've been appointed to by City Councilman, Council President Kenyatta Johnson, and we're trying to not so much as cut taxes, but consolidate the taxes, and some taxes that are anti-competitive, yes, get rid of those. But I think a lot of it is the amount of taxes that we have to pay.
Yeah.
Let's consolidate those so they can be easier, and so the ease of use is there.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the ROI on that when you think about it?
Well, we believe the return on investment is tenfold. Think about it. If I can just remove 10% of the businesses that start up, that incubate in Montgomery County on the State Line Avenue side, in New Jersey, in Camden, or in Wilmington, Delaware, and you bring them to Philadelphia, just those amount of businesses coming into Philadelphia, what it means to the tax base, what it means to the colleges and universities and the high school, because now they become a competitive job recruitment market, and people go where the jobs are. You can look at migration all over the world. You know, people left South for Chicago and Detroit and the Industrial Revolution. People will come where the jobs are.
Yeah, yeah. And then how do we look at Philadelphia's poverty rate and the demographic that's impacted by the poverty rate? And how does that play a part? How do we look at business attraction and retention and things that we do to attract those businesses to shift?
I think we have to be specific about the types of businesses that we attract. If you look at the jobs that we've created in the last decade, they've all been service sector jobs and retail jobs, which tend to pay low and keep you in working poverty. We need more jobs in manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, technology, science, arts, and culture. We need to be very intentional about the types of jobs that we create, so that they're not all. Now listen, Philadelphia is a great region. People like to visit here. So we're going to have a hospitality service sector that needs to be serviced. But that should be a gateway and not a full career. It should be a gateway where you start, but there should be some ramp up where you can go.
Yeah, I like that a lot. What are some common challenges that you encounter as a union leader?
Well, just the idea of laziness. We have done this way for 50 years. Why should we change it? And you have a lot of bureaucrats that's going to get paid the same amount, whether they try to change something or they are comfortable with doing it the way that they were.
Yeah.
And I had a common challenge in my own. My wife, who's a therapist, she opened a business now 15 years ago. Her first business was not located in Philadelphia. Now, mind you, this is my wife. I have connections. She sat down the MSB building for 2 days. She said, I'm not doing this. And she moved to Montgomery County, and she started her first office over a phone on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to address stuff like that.
We have to address stuff like that. Now, she's since moved back in the city.
That's a powerful testimony.
Yeah, because she was a young business. She didn't have lawyers. Now, when her business grew, it was always her goal to move into Philadelphia. But to move into Philadelphia, it was probably, I would say, $15,000 to $20,000 more just on the professionals, so that she can abide by all the rules and regulations it is to do business in Philadelphia.
Yeah. The worst statement you can ever utter as a business leader, a community leader, any type of leadership position is, we've always done it this way.
And
that's
they say
the worst statement you can ever
That is the
utter.
worst statement. And they say it all the time. So I would say that we need creativity. We need a new way of looking at things. And I'm optimistic that this new administration is doing a lot of things a different way, and probably will get it. I think it's not just it's like, why should I as a homeowner, let's take it to the homeowner stage, not even business. I'm putting a deck on my house. I rightfully need a permit to do that because we want to make sure you do it right.
Right.
But I have to get in the same line with the construction company that's building this great building here. And he has expediters and everything. So now I have to wait. Why can't we have a threshold with some of it you could do on your phone at home and some of it you have to go down? I want you to go down. I want your plans to be seen if you're building this, but a deck, come on.
Yeah. What trends do you see to help shape the economy in North Broad?
Well, the trends, I see a new leader going to Temple University that's already done some things at Drexel. I was out Drexel early this morning. We were visiting members on construction sites about the election, and I just looked at every hole was filled at Drexel. So I'm President Fry of Temple. I think he's going to want to revitalize North Broad Street and bring some energy. That is the trend. I mean, listen, we didn't invest what we invested in North Broad Street thinking that it wouldn't grow. And I would say the greatest trend is North Broad Renaissance. I think that when we got our bid and we started thinking orange and think broad, I think that people and investment saw that people cared about North Broad and there was a strategy. And I think that sometimes people just want to know that some people are thinking about it. And Shalimar, you've done a great job. I mean, look at North Broad pre the bid, post the bid. I like to say that the best demonstrator of what you're going to do is what you have done.
Yeah. What can we do better?
I think that what we can do better is we can raise our collective voices to make the city and their offices come to the neighborhoods more often as opposed to us going to them. We should have business retention Thursdays or business retention or business collection where you bring the businesses that want to come and all the city services, be they commerce, be they revenue, all in one so that the businesses know what they need to do, have a predictable time when L&I is going to come out and inspect so that we can actually attract businesses together and do a better job of coordinating with the governmental agencies and also giving a one page about all the grant programs that are available so that people don't have to hunt for them. That when you come here, if you come here, you can get an RCAP, you can get this, you can get that, and have it on one sheet of paper. So a business owner, while they are advertising there for rental, these are all the incentives that are possibly if you meet these certain criteria.
Yeah. And I think also leveraging technology in that work, right?
Yes,
especially
definitely.
in the city, especially listening to your wife's experience when she opened her business in Montgomery County. And to your point, right? That in today's age, those are just clicks. Like, oh, you want this business? You want this?
Yeah.
And then with AI, that should just pop up. All the grants that you're available for, all the resources that you're
And what I
available
think
for,
is,
so.
I don't think that is a Shalimar thing. I think that is a thing that we should have. That's when you use your great universities, right? You pair up the University of Penn, Drexel, University of the Sciences, and you say, look, we want a great app for this, and you make them compete for a grant at their college and perhaps, and also break the city up in bite-sized pieces. Because as I ran the Delaware River Port Authority, when you're putting big computer systems in for an entire organization, glitches are going to happen. But what we need to do is probably say, let's start with commerce, but make sure that the technology can talk to everyone else. But if we needed a commerce first, let's start with that bite of the apple instead of trying to get the whole city because it becomes, that becomes more than an ocean.
Yeah, I like that a lot. What message would you like to convey to business leaders about the value of partnering with the unions?
I will say that when you partner with us, you have the best trained, the safest workforce in the world, but also you have people in the industry that's been in the industry for decades that could be your thought partners too. I think the most underrated part of the building trades is that we know how to get a deal done. We understand the development process. We understand the business process, and you have no greater friend than us because if you don't make a profit, you can't pay our wages. Right. So we want you to make a profit.
I like that. Is anything else that you'd like to share?
I would like to share that we at North Broad, we just want to let everybody know that we're open for business.
Mm-hmm.
We're open for business, and we believe that we have an advantage over everywhere else because compared to South Broad Street, you get a great deal on real estate and you get the same traffic here and you're being a part of something that is coming up. So your upside and your potential for forced equity
Mm-hmm.
grows tremendously if you locate your business on North Broad Street.
I like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And how can listeners get involved in what you're doing in the programs that you're putting out?
1-800-WE-BUILD. It's really easy. 1-800-WE-BUILD. And you get to one of our people, and because we don't only talk about building buildings, we like to build lives, which builds families, which builds communities.
Mm-hmm.
So we're more concerned about who do we build, what do we build. So my story could be replicated 1 million times in that a guy that grew up in public housing now has all of his children that graduated from college.
That's beautiful. I love that. And what does the hashtag Think Broad mean to you?
It's a double entendre. Is we want you to think about Broad Street, but we want you to think about broadly. Bring us all your ideas. And as I tell my staff in my monthly meetings, if I don't get one crazy idea that we think that we cannot do, you're not thinking broadly
Mm-hmm.
enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because we should have an imagination that says, look, why can't we have a tower on North Broad that's bigger than Liberty 1 and 2? Why can't we do that?
Yeah.
Why can't we lure a major Fortune 500 company from New York City with the highest taxes almost in the country to Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we do
Mm-hmm.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we ask our Comcast partners, we know that you're headquartered here and we love that, but you also own NBC, that's headquartered at 30 Rockefeller. Why can't that be at 1,000 North Broad?
Mm-hmm. I like the way you think. I like
Think
the way you
broad.
think. That was one of the things that made us say, why can't we have a beach on North Broad? Why not?
Why can't we?
Everybody was talking about going to the shore. I said, I've never been to the shore when I was little. I played in the water holes and the fire hydrant.
Well, listen,
I waited for Mr. Softy to come.
Me too. The funny thing is I've spoken to a developer who has a property on 1500 on North, on Calla Hill, who's really, really considering putting the beach close to North Broad Street on 15th and Calla Hill.
Just remember, we thought of it first.
Well,
We thought of it first.
well, listen, when we thought of it, he can actualize it, and he also has some little plans, and he's a bold developer, and we can work with him.
I like it. Well,
Going through a little tragedy now, but we'll, once he gets his head in the right space, we can.
I think I know the building too. I think I know the building,
Yeah, you know the building
that you're talking about. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about the development that's coming. People always ask me, well, what about gentrification? They always ask that, right? That I'm sure that's a question that comes up for you too, right? And I share that we want quality investments into our neighborhoods. We just don't want to be displaced and exploited in the process.
I think gentrification is good. Displacement is horrible.
That's right.
And we need disruption. We cannot be the ones, well, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want anything new. You want gentrification because gentrification actually raises the value of your property, which raises your wealth. But you don't want the predatory gentrification
That's right.
that pushes you out.
That's right. And the quality of life,
and
right?
the quality of life.
Mhm.
We saw gentrification. I told you I grew up at 1118 North Broad Street. 1118 North Street. And all around my neighborhood now, new homes are popping up. But I see the old homeowners and they see me, they love it because my uncle, he lives in the Nehemiah Homes and he was getting his basement done. And a guy said, well, you can refinance your house. And he called me like he's trying to, I think he's trying to scam me. I'm like, no, your house is worth $450.
Yeah.
And he paid $60,000. He's a welder his whole life.
$60,000.
Yeah, he couldn't imagine being close to $500,000. But that is his wealth because now he owns it free and clear.
Yeah.
And now he has pride because we taught him how to leverage it. So he paid off his grandson's college debt. And you know what that feels like to someone that worked their whole life?
I love it.
I mean,
that's another great testimony. That's another great story.
78-year-old black man that welded his whole life for Bud.
Yeah.
And now he can pay off his grandson. That was his greatest thing.
Yeah.
You know, he bragged, I paid off Rodney loan, that little loan Rodney. But these are the stories that we need to tell so that people aren't afraid because they didn't know. My grandmother, your grandparents, they bought a house for a home.
Yep.
They didn't buy it as an investment.
Yep.
But the largest wealth is in your home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. This was really nice. I enjoyed this.
I did too. Thanks.